There's even a couple people on the tour. Just put the racket down. All right? I'm talking the most efficient way to hit a ball. Racket heads above the wrist a little bit. How much you call. But just so it's a little bit. Doesn't have to be like anything like this, but just so it's a little bit, the racket's going to do what we want. Right arm straight. Left elbow. This is key. The left elbow has to have a little bend in it. The left elbow has to have a bend in it. The reason why there's going to be a bend, because when you pull the racket, here we go again. My setup, knees bent, right arm straight, racket head above the hands, little bend in the elbow, there's the space, it's to the outside. Look what happens when I let go of the racket. Look familiar? Almost like the forehand. Same position. So, if I do this, that's not what I'm talking about. You can do a stroke, you can go the other way, but that's not the backhand that is the most optimal. And these guys have just figured it out. They just figured it out because the speed of the game and the situation they're in, if they were in the neighborhood, they could do it. Then you got someone like a good friend Rod, okay? Right arm straight, left arm straight, not cool, all right? Whoever coached him as a kid did a bad job not figuring that one out. But anyway, the left arm is too straight. Even though he kept it on the hitting side, his racket head speed, ball rotation, John can measure this, not even anywhere close to the guys we're talking about. Very manufactured type of movement. He doesn't get anything for free. Right arm straight, left elbow bent, racket head above. Same concept. The leg drive and the hip is going to activate the pull. The pull. There's no more backswing. I'm done. It's over. The racket's there. I'm not going to go anymore. The elbow stays on the hitting side of the body, just like on the forehand. The elbow's not going to go behind. The elbow, you want a clean path by the trunk. It doesn't come around. Same thing here. You're going to pull the racket. Watch when I pull. The racket goes straighten. That's a pull. Then there's the push, and then I come across. You can picture choke a bit. You can picture that racket going like a little wiggle, like it goes. You can almost, in Agassi, if you're ever watching someone, you can picture the racket going like this. They're not trying to do that. It's because to the outside, they pull, and the racket flips. The racket head goes down and back so fast, it flips, and it creates racket head speed with a shorter stroke. And then they straighten out the left arm, and then they come across at the end, like a lefty forehand. So, but the key, some of the nuances, some of the corrective techniques that you got to be careful of. People, they get it 70%, then they go like this. Stroke won't work. Remember, you got to pull it. It's this way. We don't want it going that way. It's already back. A little different on the forehand where you're still going to shape it to there. The backhand, all the way back. You're going to pull with the right hand. Pull with this. All right? The elbow stays up. Keep the elbow up, and the racket's just going to go, and then you straighten it out. And when the ball comes fast, look, you can almost picture these guys. You can picture Agassi just going. It looks like he's not even moving. He's not going. He's not going like this. He's going. You can't even picture those guys going like this. It's a cause and an effect. There's a rhyme and a reason why that happens. It's all the mechanics. It's the setup. One more time. Unit turn. Right arm straight, but relax. Racket head above the wrist a little bit. A little bend in the elbow. Get space. You want to pull. The racket head flips when I pull. See how the racket goes? That's what you see on every one of those backhands. All right? You see the racket flip. It's straight. And then they come across at the end. With the two-handed backhand, you have a little more wiggle room because you're going to be stronger and you can kind of trunk it around and keep the ball in the court. So you got a little more wiggle room if the people want to do a different type of backhand. But at the end of the day, if you can train someone, and I have little kids that they're like this, they just pull the racket. And I know they would feel better going, they feel better doing that. And they just learn to pull. So they've already got it in their DNA that you pull. You don't wind up. You don't swing. And so the size and strength really has nothing to do with this. Has nothing to do with this. And And if you can build that into someone's motor pattern at a young age, it's huge. It's a huge thing. Now, I'm going to go back on the forehand and backhand a little bit at the end also. On the serve, let me just explain. And if anybody here has a question, just raise your hand in the chat. Fire.
Could be overcome with the grab.
What now?
One hand.
Yeah, this is it's different. I mean, I could explain. I'll do that at the end if you want me to talk about what really happens on a one-hander. But it's a whole different swing. Has nothing really to do with the flip. Like the one-hand and backhand is a totally different swing. But real quick on the serve. This is tricky. This is very, very tricky. And through a lot of Brian's research, you know, the human eye just can't see a lot of this stuff. And one of the things